On July 9th of 2022, I took my first trip to the Great Smoky Mountains and witnessed a heartbreaking scene. My family and I were confronted twice with black bears outside our hotel in the center of Gatlinburg. As cool as it was to see them, it shattered my heart to think of the reasons why they're in the middle of the city instead of their natural habitat. And that got me thinking, what could have caused this? How do we prevent this in the future? I decided to create a short film to document my research and hands-on experience with the peaceful creatures of the world. Stuart K. Allison, a biology professor at Knox College in Illinois, wrote a book called Ecological Restoration and Environmental Change. In his book, he mentions the beginnings of restoration science. Paraphrased, the study of restoration began in the late 18th century as European foresters designed experimental plantings to improve forest health and limit damaging flooding. He also mentions a similar experimental approach that took root in the rangelands in Utah and eastern Oregon.
My name is Andrea Wall. I'm a 73-year-old retired occupational therapist. I decided I wanted to do something to help my community and help habitat.
I spoke with Andrea Wall, formerly known as the conservation champion in her community in Oregon. According to the Royal Society, approximately 60% of total global biodiversity loss for mammal and bird species has occurred in just 7 countries, the United States being one of them. I asked her on her thoughts about how America is dealing with the issue of maintaining their variety in species.
Not well
Yeah.
at all. I think it's better with this administration than the prior one. But in 2016, when I saw how much difficulty the pollinators were having, that's part of the reason why the trail project has 2 pollinator gardens.
Could I know a little bit about what inspired you to begin Friends of Fano Creek Headwaters?
The way I got started is that there was water that was pouring from a parking lot above the trail because we started getting these torrential downpours as climate changed. We had to have a non-profit organization in order to get grant money, and that's where the Oregon Wildlife Foundation comes in because they manage our grant money and our donations. We're just focusing on this project, and they take care of the rest.
Andrea's mission has been to remove invasive species in Oregon, such as the Himalayan blackberry and English ivy, and replace them with native plants, the same plants that the indigenous people used to cook with for medicinal purposes. Replanting these plants helps the native pollinators such as mason bees, rabbits, coyotes, etc. I also spoke with Sarah Stratton, a speech-language pathologist who's been involved in multiple projects involving amphibians and reptiles in Oregon. One of the most eye-opening experiences she had was how there was a numerous amount of frog roadkill in Portland due to the rainy weather and cars driving through. In an effort to save the frog population, she was involved in a project that helped build a highway underpass to allow the amphibians a safe passage. The National Wildlife Federation claims that by conserving wildlife, we're ensuring that future generations can enjoy our natural world. In Japanese culture, people hold that claim close to their heart. Stuart K. Allison mentioned how in Japan, for at least 2,000 years, Shinto priests have encouraged the maintenance of forests near their temples. Written in Virgil's Georgics, which was made in 30 BCE, some pages can be read as a description of the need for the people to care for trees as an early form of restoration.
Hi, I'm Laura Hinojosa. I'm a student of animal ecology at Iowa State University, the Department of Natural Resource Ecology and Management.
I interviewed Laura on behalf of her experience in Japan and the differences in biodiversity there versus here.
So I've been to Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Namerikawa, which is a smaller town, and then Nara. More than anything, I think the most stark difference between the 2 places is that just how clean Japan can be, just from an aesthetic perspective. Just Japan seems a lot cleaner. I've noticed that They have a lot of greenery in some of their buildings, just growing inside the buildings in a way. It's something I've never seen here in the US. I do know that according to Shinto, they probably do regard a lot of wildlife and the natural area as sacred in a way.
Burgers sounding.